Hi, Karsten.
Hi, Christopher.
Hello, how's it going, man?
Doing great. Enjoying the summer, like 35 degrees here. No window open, no vent going, no climate control. I love summer. And
Awesome, right?
you know what I love even more? This is the ninth
Number nine.
edition of Open Clouds Dev, presented by.
The Cloud Report, sponsoring open.clouds.dev.
And let's perhaps welcome our special guest, Frederica, the editor-in-chief of Cloud. Oh, she's again not here. Because she's currently writing a press release.
Ooh, a press release. And one of I do work in marketing, and one of the most valuable lessons you learn is, if you want people's attention, just, be gone. Make yourself scarce, and that will give you all the attention you need. So basically, she's doing a great job, isn't she?
Absolutely. And I'm just thinking of whether we should perhaps actually should stop the show now, because then we are gone.
That's the weird thing about these webcast format podcast thing shows I do. I have the feeling when we go live, I'm not sure how much participation we get and how many fans we have out there, but miss a show for 1 week, and you start getting messages from people. Is everything all right? Why aren't you putting on a show this week? What the hell's your problem? So yeah, okay, I can deal with it. I'm agile
I'm
now.
specifically looking forward to those "What the hell is wrong with you" messages.
Yeah,
Oh, Chris,
like business
what the
is
hell is
usual for
wrong with
me.
you? What the hell is wrong with you, my friend?
I don't know. I think I got pushed off something as a small child.
That would explain a lot to me.
Right. I've asked my
Because
mom, but
would that would basically explain why I always have those dreams of pushing someone.
but no, it's all good. My mother had me tested. I'm normal.
Uh-huh.
I'm this new normal they're all talking about.
You are the new normal? That would explain a lot to me. Ah, oh, damn it.
Hashtag
But wait
2020.
a sec. No, wait a second. When you are the new normal, what about me then? Oh,
You are the new normal plus.
oh.
I don't know. What's like a catchy
Is that a
phrase?
reference? Is that a reference to my weight
No.
with
No,
being the new normal plus XXL,
No,
XXXL?
like where I'm from here in Germany, in Franconia, we have a nice German saying called "A Mann ohne Bauch is a Krüppel." And that translates to, a man
Can you
without a
actually
belly is
translate
basically,
it?
just a hot mess.
Well, frankly, your translation sounds better than the original saying.
Imagine, welcome to my life. There's this thing called the dad bod, and the dad bod is all sexy. Do you know what a dad bod is?
No, please enlighten me.
Oh, so when couples get pregnant, obviously you shall see that a lady is pregnant, and since also the husbands or the males in that aspect are also kind of stressed and are preparing for getting children and take part in the whole pregnancy, they also get little tummies. And if you see a man with a little tummy, with a little belly, that's called a dad bod, and it was declared as sexy by I think it was GQ or something, Gentleman's Quarterly. And so, hey, it's all good. But imagine me, I keep telling all the ladies about my dad bod, and I don't have children. That's kind of the loophole in my system there. But oh well, it's all good. It's all good. Here at openclouds.dev, we love every color, every form, every shape, every size, every thought, everything.
I actually wanted to ask about your past days, but you answered that right away.
Here we go.
Ah, you had some very happy days, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
You
did.
enjoy being back at work?
Yes, of course. I identify with my job and I am a very passionate open source persona. So basically, I am living the dream, Karsten.
You are the dream, Christopher.
Oh God.
Yeah. Nobody said that a dream can't be a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. No, but actually this week really, I had a lot on my agenda, a lot of meetings, a lot of stuff to do. And I personally, I'm one of those guys, rather than sitting around all day doing nothing and having this awful empty feeling in the evening of what have I actually done, I actually do enjoy the days where my agenda is kind of packed because then,
I
I
know.
know
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
a
I know.
sense and I
I
know
know.
I've done something, I've accomplished something. So that's kind
I
of
totally act the same way. The problem is, in the end of the day, you basically sit there and say, "Okay, where's my day gone?" Um,
my day gone. Maybe
isn't it like 10 a.m.? No, damn it, it's 10 p.m. Something happened.
Yeah, we need like 48-hour days.
Thank you, Siri.
Oh, sweet.
Um, but Chris, you know, there is something to celebrate.
Oh, oh, what's
Oh
this?
yes, oh yes, oh yes. This one.
Ooh, 10th anniversary of OpenStack. Has it really been that long? How the
It
time
has.
flies.
It has. It has. And I feel old. I really, really, really feel old. And guys, if you ever visit the Cloud Reports website at https the minus report.cloud. Chris, could you repeat?
The minus cloud dot report.
Awesome. If you ever visit that website, don't forget to allow all the cookies. So,
OpenStack.
OpenStack, the 10th, it's a long, warm day. The 10th anniversary of OpenStack. And Jesus, I feel old. The first time when I learned about OpenStack, it was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I figured, what do I need that one for?
hmm And let's shine some light on this because
Absolutely.
for me it was when I joined SUSE here and we actually had OpenStack in our portfolio back in the days. Um, and it actually only kind of the further we're going down this rabbit hole called IT in 2020 and cloudification, call it whatever you want, the more sense something like OpenStack makes because OpenStack has always been kind of the counter pitch to dump all your crap somewhere on a public cloud, but still
Although
be
OpenStack
able.
can perfectly run on a public cloud.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, you can do all the cool cloud stuff without having to use a third party
Oh,
vendor
yeah.
to do it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that actually, maybe it was a little before its time or whatever it was. I really loved talking to guys from the OpenStack community. I was talking to our developers. I was talking to customers using it. And for me, till until today, it makes perfect sense saying like, um, cloud as is and cloud technology as is has been put out there by media that it always has to be
Yeah,
one of the big
yeah.
three, but it doesn't. It's a bunch of
Absolutely
functionalities.
not.
It's a bunch of different subsets of
Services.
software you can put onto a cluster and make this cluster basically be your own cloud system. Cloud.
Absolutely. That's basically the magic of OpenStack. I mean, many understand OpenStack as some sort of a private cloud-ish thing, which is able to run on bare metal or VMs. And just a few understand that can basically run literally everywhere. Speaking of basically being able to run literally everywhere, latest OpenStack releases are actually containerized. So wherever you are able to run a Kubernetes, you might be able, let me put it that way, to roll out an OpenStack. If we are last week, I feel it was 9 days ago, and we will come to that, because you deliberately crashed our regular schedule. You did that on purpose.
Yeah, I was trying to
We'll
prove
come to
it.
that later on. We come to that later on.
So
I'm
since
able to forgive, but I wanted to say is basically when last time we talked about GDPR, talked about privacy and trustworthiness, and I can just repeat myself in that regard. Whenever you run something on a public cloud or even on the hyperscalers, which is not rolled out and handled by you and understood by you, it's basically a black hole. You don't know what is going on there. You have no understanding. And with OpenStack, you can have basically the same infrastructure as services functionality that you have with the public cloud providers at your own disposal. In fact, there are several public cloud providers offerings based off OpenStack. They use it, they customize it, and then they basically make it available to you as a customer. For example, OVH, which is basically working, even on a worldwide scale. French-based company with data centers all across Europe, in North America, and Asia. They have basically 2 cloud offerings, and one of them is running on OpenStack and is using OpenStack. And that is awesome. And you can, but you can have it on a smaller scale as well. If you basically just want to have it in your own data center or on your own rack, that's perfectly possible. It's perhaps a little bit consuming in regard to hardware required, in regard to resources required, but hey, you have your own cloud, and it's an open source cloud. You can look into it, you can understand what's going on, and nobody is going to steal your freaking data.
Yes,
And
corporate
that is
responsibility. I'll throw that in there. Corporate
absolutely.
responsibility, because you were mentioning GDPR, and GDPR is for one a very, very corporate responsibility, but it breaks down to each and every one handling external data, contact data, preference, whatever it is, just data about people. And just coming from that, figuring if I'd be pushed into this discussion internally, so what are we going to do about GDPR? Actually, one of my first answers would be, let's build our own cloud and not push stuff to public clouds. And the
totally
question
on your side.
might be why, because GDPR kind of starts with protecting personal data and pieces of information, but it actually does go on a lot deeper. Also, you have to have a mechanism for deletion. You have to have a mechanism for encryption. You are not only responsible for a piece of data coming in, but you're responsible for a piece of data for its complete existence and lifetime within your systems. And that's kind of where I just see a large issue, because you factually don't know which server am I on in the big cloud, how does their load
Is your data
work?
really where they say it is? Does it stay there? Is there some vector basically transferring the data from data center A to data center B via CIA cable C? Don't know, and you won't know. And there are some rumors in the industry about major hyperscalers playing some sort of a fault game there, pretending to be GDPR compliant, and then basically data is backupped or transferred via non-GDPR compliant ways, and they just happen to get away with it because you as a customer cannot prove it to them. And even if there are audits, an auditor can just work with what he is presented with, and what he's able to understand and able to see. And most of the auditors are just doing, paperwork. And in regard to paper, it's quite often the case that it heavily depends on the way you basically lay out your words, whether it goes into the one direction or the other. So all of those things are completely imminent at the moment. They are there, and we need to understand them. And that's why I feel like it is so important that a project such as OpenStack exists and continues to exist and continues to evolve. And if you look at the stats which the team of the Cloud Report has collected, they say basically there were 21 releases from Austin to Usuri. They have 451 research projects. They basically run on more than 10 million cores. There are 8,000 plus individual developers working on OpenStack, and every day they propose like 900 changes and 18,000 tests are run day in, day out. And very importantly, OpenStack, although it started as a project by, let me look that up, as a project from Rackspace and NASA, OpenStack is run by the OpenStack Foundation. So all that code is donated to the OpenStack Foundation, which is there to work with the community and to keep the stakeholders' interests in place. So
I mean, there's kind of, you're just cross-connecting our different episodes. Last week we talked about the PinePhone, which was really, really great.
Oh, I wanted to get back to that, by the way. But please go ahead.
Yeah, so for one, greetings to Lukas, who contacted us after watching our last episode.
And who's currently on vacation, right? So enjoy your vacation, Lukas.
Oh yeah, enjoy your vacation. And he's the guy that invented the PinePhone. And I think that's kind of the same topic, because what we have there is, why would I buy a telephone and put my own operating system on it if there's Google's Android and Apple's iOS? It's already there and it's all easy to use and it's all great, but there are really, really great reasons. I know when Lukas comes from his vacation, he said he'd be willing to join one of our talks and explain.
Oh, we are really looking forward to that.
A little deeper what the PinePhone is about. But I think it's kind of the same topic. It's a very, very good alternative to keep in control of your own compliance, your own data, your own technological forte. Let's call it that.
Awesome. But Chris, he said another very important thing, and I feel like that is an important aspect. PinePhone, and the same might be true for OpenStack. PinePhone is not the answer to everything. It is some sort of a biased, opinionated approach. It gives you more freedom, but it's definitely not for everyone. And I feel like the same is true with OpenStack. If you look at OpenStack currently as a project, how to set it up, how to operate it, it requires a lot of knowledge. Let me put it that way. That's complex. You need to know and understand and see a lot of things in there. So it's definitely not for the beginners. It's definitely not for those who just want a completely sorrowless and very free kind of package. Once set up, once configured properly, and once, once you have your backup strategies in place and so on and so forth, you have your own ecosystem.
I'm a guy, I love to speak in metaphors. I love building the pictures. And you know what this reminds me of? So let's get back into the cars. So the first car I had, as mentioned, was an old Golf. It was a manual shift, could drive that thing. The second car I had
Wait. You just told me last week that is your current car. Sorry.
My current car is my feet. Because I'm trying to be ecologically sustainable and responsible.
No, your new car has not been delivered yet. That's the truth.
I went from a car that had a manual shift to a car that had a full automatic, and at the moment I'm driving a full automatic car with S-Tronic, which is a manual gear shift without a clutch. And just from having kind of all the spectrum of different gear shifting and automation processes within cars, what I've realized with my fully automated shift is there have been a couple of sticky situations on the German highways where people are completely crazy. Or within, Franconian Switzerland, where you have a lot of curves, where you really should know how to drive a car if you're doing it at speed, where I was saying like, wow, the automation of my gear shifting nearly killed me because I didn't have the option to decide
To turn it off, yeah.
myself how my vehicle will respond to commands I'm giving it. And that for me is kind of the same thing. I can put it all onto my awesome public cloud, but I'm not really in control of it anymore because it's all an automated process that I have nothing to deal with. And if I'm using something like OpenStack, I basically have the same technology, which is kind of, shift a gear, do a workload, but I'm in full control of how I want to set it up, when I want to scale something, when do I want to deploy something somewhere, how does the load balancing work, all these fine, sweet parts of a cloud. And the question is, sometimes it's, hey, let's break it down. Not even your responsibility or compliance. It's just about the fun. It's about the pioneering spirit. It's about being open. It's about using open source at its max, which is that you can basically decide and modify and run the system just the way you want it and not the way others concepted and designed it.
Am I allowed to elaborate as well?
Okay, because it's you.
Thank you so much. Oh, damn it. I can basically just add to that because I'm currently running a car which has a lot of automatic controls in it. And quite often in construction sites, the car misinterprets the lanes, and I have to actively counter that, and that's a pain in the car. And no, perhaps, don't know. As I usually do, I just pretend, looking at you. And I have an automatic recognition of the allowed speed. So it basically sees the speeding signs, the speeding limits there, and then basically adjusts to that limit. And the point is, if you are within a construction site, and the car thinks of, oh yeah, there is no speed limit anymore. Guess what it does?
Accelerates like fuck.
Oh yeah, and and on the other end, on a very free kind of motorway, the car thinks like, okay, yeah, there's an 80s sign or a 60s sign or a 40s sign, and it starts an emergency brake. And that's fun for the first time. And that's fun while you are alone on the motorway. But if somebody is behind you, that stops being fun. And the same is true with, and that is basically, working with your picture then again. The same is true with the hyperscalers environments. They have all of those automated things in there. They have all those telemetry things in there that report back usage and so on and so forth. And you have no way of turning that off. And you need to trust them, although you perhaps feel like you cannot trust them. And you need to constantly work against them. Work against their regulations, work against their, automatic kind of functionalities. And with OpenStack, you have your own cloud stack, which can run everywhere. If you decide to install it on a hyperscalers environment, yeah, well, do it. You then just depend on their VMs and on the way how VMs are treated, which is still a black hole, but yeah, nonetheless possible. And if you want to run it in your own environment, then just do it, because you can do it. It might not be that fancy, might not have all the bells and whistles you see with the hyperscalers, because that is part of what they do. They add more and more and more and more features because they know, first of all, somebody is going to use them anyways. Second, those features basically make them appealing because it's the sheer number of features that is there. Nobody is able to understand it besides the two of us. And on the other end, and as third aspect, it locks you into their ecosystem. So if you do not want to get locked into their ecosystem, you need to avoid that. But there is no way you can avoid it unless you have something like OpenStack.
Yeah.
And there's the point where I disagree with you. OpenStack to me is not like, I give me that kind of freedom from time to time, although I know I'm going to pay for that over the next years to come.
Have your opinion. Everybody's entitled to have one,
I just need to live with the consequences. No, but you said, it's perhaps part of a game or fun thing to do. And yes, I get that. But actually, to me, that's way more than that, because making yourself independent of the cloud stack, setting and working then with open source technologies there, is not a fun thing because you worked with OpenStack. We set it up every day. That's not fun, let me put it that way. And secondly, it is a strategic decision you do. It is a strategic move if you say, okay, we are moving towards OpenStack, because you do that not by the fun of it. You do that because you want to get rid of somebody who is stealing your data, of an environment which you are not able to comply with, or which is not compliant with your expectations, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of work associated with OpenStack. I feel like I do not want to spoil any kind of press release, but I feel like that needs to be changed.
There's something coming there, huh?
No, but the point is, the work is worth it.
What I really mean with the fun is, it's not so much, work is going to be work and you have responsibilities, and please, everybody, especially working in IT, take serious what you're doing. But I do remember a time, coming really from the open source communities and work that I've done over, not only at SUSE, but
pardon me. If you say I do remember a time, that sounds like granddad telling his family from the war.
I remember a time I had hair.
Nobody remembers that time. Nobody. I was talking to your mom. Nobody remembers that time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But if I look at some of the coolest platforms and technological advancements and awesome tech stuff that we use very commonly nowadays, it was always guys building that had passion. And with that passion had fun, even with very serious topics. And nowadays, I think a part of that passion and the innovation and creativity that can come from it are very, very limited, because we're working in very, very limited systems. And these very, very limited systems and the rule sets behind them are being defined purely by necessity of scalability, of cost, of accountability,
but we leave out all the other requirements, such as freedom, such as choice, such as vendor independence, such as control, such as trustworthiness, such as security. And please stop me, because I'm going to continue with that over the next hours.
Well, you do, because that is actually the core and essence of it all, of open source. There's so much more behind it. For private people, open source is great. Download it, it's free, have fun. If you have a problem, go to the community, and in the best case, you'll get help. But even translating that to business causes, the free is not so much as in free beer anymore, but it's freedom of choice. It's freedom of making right decisions for your own business case, and with that, the customers and their happiness. That you're gaining, and I think we forget that far too often. Where
Yeah.
actually, the for me as an open source business person, where the foundation of that movement came from and why we started doing this and why it's very, very important and why it, for example, also is important to have independent open source projects and independent open source companies. Um, because
Speaking of which,
yeah,
speaking of which, would you please get up for just a few inches? I will not speak about your red trousers. I promise.
oh, this is so embarrassing. This is a color filter. Yeah, but
Ah.
I'm up.
Dum 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 dum. Ah.
That just ruined my reputation.
No, it did not. It just added to it. But speaking of which, and speaking of open source companies, there is one open source company. I'm not sure if you heard of them. They are called. Oh, what is their name? Don't know. Sun? No, 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 no. Sun is something different. Microsoft? No, they are not open source.
Oracle,
Ah,
Red Hat.
no, no, no. If I, you reminded me of them. That's why I'm just thinking. Red trousers. No hair ink. SUSE, SUSE. And yes, now I remember. You are SUSE's best press manager.
Oh
So
yes, please.
please, Christopher Allen Branson.
Yes, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 15 Service Pack 2.
Yes,
Wow.
it was officially released like 2 weeks ago, and we
Yes,
haven't talked about that.
that is
How
very, very
could we dare
wow.
to do that?
I mean, how could we? Because it's generally, it's a service pack update. We didn't reinvent the wheel, it's not a major release, but it still is a very important release because um,
Frankly,
what,
it
what,
comes a year after the last version,
yes.
which is quite a while,
Hmm.
and it introduces some new kind of features and functionalities, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of what it does emphasize and what it helps with is for people who've been using the SUSE Linux Enterprise server line for quite some time, have seen radical changes. They've seen it go from a pure operating system to be more a platform for stuff to be run on, to becoming a multimodal OS, to with SLES 15 being a base for basically all this digital transformation stuff with containerization, cloudification, software defined everything. But the first step
Bingo,
with what?
bingo. You
Bingo.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
I was just
Um,
crossing out the last item in
and
my diagonal row.
yeah, right. Here, buzzword bingo, I win. No, but
Yep.
the actual cool thing is about SLES 15 SP2 is also SUSE is growing and changing and transforming. And
No.
what we've done now, like one of the things we really drive at the moment at SUSE for our customers and partners alike, is the thought of simplify, modernize, and accelerate. And that is actually a pretty smooth and cool complex, which shows the openness of our portfolio, because we can tell you, no matter where you're at in your trip, are you just starting to set up your IT? Are you kind of evolving software programs, products that you have in your portfolio to kind of run on a more open system, or are you kind of the accelerate guy who's saying like, okay, I've already started with the VMs and containerizations, and we have a hybrid IT, but now it's about efficiency. And what we're doing there with this piece of software is now laying the perfect foundation to build anything else on it. We have our complementary portfolio. We've made tools like Zipper, package management, container readiness. We've made all that better. We're integrating and including it more and more and more in our base product. And why is this so interesting? Because people forget about the poor little server that's running an operating system that's giving you your awesome functionality, that's giving you the app, that's giving you the database, that's giving you something cool to log on and do crazy stuff. And that's what SLES 15 SP2 or generally SLES enables nowadays. We're still doing the base of computing, which is making a computer actually do things, making a server do things. Oh, it's
And
with
that we are ending. With that we are ending our SUSE advertisement block, and now continue with the following program.
What's the next topic? Okay.
Why should I buy it?
Why should you buy it? Well, we've already had one topic about why should you buy it and why should you care, which is avoiding vendor lock-in. One of the things we've been very, very good at, and that doesn't have so much to do with something we released, but with kind of, the general way of working and mentality we have, which is we're interoperable. Coming from a server, if you put SLES on a server and want to run VMs on this server, we don't care. Use VMware, use Xen, use KVM, use any kind of hypervisor you want and run any kind of operating system in or on that hypervisor that you want. We're certified. We collaborate with these companies. We try to enable the IT you want and not the one we would like to push on you. Coming from a server, which kind of database do you want on it? Do you want a MongoDB, a MariaDB? Do you want to even do SQL stuff in some weird kind of form? Yeah, be our guest. We love data. We love databases. Do you want to run VMs, or do you want to run a container, or do you just want to throw workloads at people to do stuff with? Okay, we're going to be your friend, your guest. Talking about Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, yeah, we are their friends. They love us. Have you seen all these kind of basically free advertisements they're putting out for us, always saying like blah 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 company loves open source, loves Linux in its pure essence, something like SUSE, and that's really, really great. But the main benefit that I could tell you is if you're into cost control, buy open source and buy subscriptions, because you're paying for what you want and what you get. If you're into interoperability and not being bullied by IT companies to make you choose certain software, use Linux. And in that case, definitely use SUSE, because we're the only ones left who really will support you in using what you want, when you want it, where you need it. And the best thing that I think we can offer, the best thing I think that we can offer is the complete stack, from a motherboard with a CPU in a socket to a microservice workload being stateless somewhere in your crappy cloud. We do it all. We offer it all.
I have an ugly question.
Oh.
Do you support and do you have your own OpenStack distribution? Forget it. I know the answer. Forget it. Next topic. Let's move on because
I love that question.
Yeah, I know you love it.
I think it was a good question.
Yeah, thank you. We won't answer it now. There's, we need to accept the fact. Let me put it that way, that there might be other systems besides SUSE.
Yes.
Linux. Enterprise server. By the way, which KDE version is SUSE Linux Enterprise server shipping with?
All of them.
And which GNOME version?
All of them. So to change the topic, when I read this article, I thought you were sending me an article about myself because it says amnesic incognito life system. That's kind of what I
You
am.
are an amnesic incognito life system.
Yeah, talk to me
Again, I
about
get a
some stuff
lot
and
of
I'll forget
ideas
about
for the title of this show's recording. I get a lot of ideas there.
what were we talking about? I can't remember the last questions. It's kind of, I closed that tab.
Damn it. But please, what do we need something like Tails for? I mean, it's a
Um,
nifty name.
I was thinking about what could we use Tails for, and basically, if you have a library and the library is offering computers you can go on the internet on, I could imagine that is a pretty nifty operating system for that because you have a lot of
Right.
different users who are logging onto the same system or this basically the same PC base, and you wouldn't really want the next guy to come using your PC to be able to track any personal data, preferences. It's a security topic, and an operating system that basically per design is built to not track you, and the amnesic part to forget to a certain point the workload you just ran through it is actually a pretty awesome thing in terms of privacy.
Privacy? What do I need that for? I mean, I have.
You have a
An
telephone.
Android phone.
That's yeah. That what
And
do you need privacy?
Google keeps telling me I don't need privacy because I don't have nothing to hide. So what do I need privacy for? And why would I care if something like Tails exists?
Well, you personally really wouldn't because you have your own devices and you're in control of them, but not everybody has the luxury of having 10 phones and 5 PCs and 3 laptops. There are shared devices and there are
That's a
shared
shame.
services.
That's a shameless lie. I have 6 phones, not 5.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I lost count after the third phone. But here, real life examples. I'm the master of real life examples. So imagine uh, you're in a happy relationship and you've been in this relationship for very, very
Oh,
long.
wait. I do not need to imagine that because I am.
That's so cute. And after some time in grown-up relationships, things can get a little daily grindish, a little normal, let's call it maybe even a little boring. And so there's this one evening where you're sitting in your room and you still love your girlfriend dearly, but you're feeling this warm sensation inside, knowing you have a connection to the World Wide Web, and what is the World Wide Web made of to 80%. And you start, let's
No,
say,
no, wait. What is it made of to 80%? Please elaborate on that.
pornography.
Oh, damn it. What?
Pornography.
Never heard that.
I'm sure.
No.
So, okay, first I'll do the grown up. We have a social life version, which is, you're on your PC, you're looking at naked ladies because you need a little something for your inspiration.
I don't need
Uh,
it.
um, how should I put it? Like get hungry outside, eat at home.
No, I don't
But
need that.
so you need something basically for your imagination, and you're like surfing the web looking at different stuff, and one thing you wouldn't want is that somebody comes to your PC and knows what you've done last. Okay, I can use an incognito browser window, ha ha ha, because if you haven't gotten onto the fact that the incognito browser window is actually joke, let's call it that, then you might realize why an amnesic live system is pretty good, because it doesn't only wipe the local browser history data, but it will wipe the data package that went through your router. If you have a hacker girlfriend, that could be woo. and you don't leave any traces of what you've done, and that's really, really cool. Or for example, in your case, since you're such an angel, if you're surfing the web again to buy your like 10th mobile phone, and your girlfriend maybe already said that 8 mobile phones, dude, buy another one, and that's just basically it. You could hide any evidence of your purchase or of your.
I need to download Tails. I need to download it right away.
Yeah,
you got me.
There's something for everyone out there. No, but going away from these pure private reasons that it might be interesting, really coming from people don't know how messy and how dirty open networks and open devices that stand around and are usable for anyone are.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that would be a very, very great opportunity to make basically external open community computing a lot safer. That's what I'm trying to say with that.
You did that perfectly. And
pornography. Hey, I'm trying.
We just lost our rating.
No, because I'm trying to reach our audience where it's at. We talk about all this technological blah bull crap cloud la di da di da, but in the best case,
Chris,
our audience is made of humans, and so why not talk about human needs?
Our audience behaves. Our audience is clean. Our audience, they are using like 95% of the 80% of the web's pornography on a daily basis. Yeah, I know, but not me.
Not me.
So, and not you.
I wouldn't know.
We are angels.
How?
I know.
I read the Bible a lot. Evangelist.
Damn it. We are not just losing our rating. We are also getting threats by real, true evangelists now. Thank you so much, Chris.
So to put this back in context, dear Tails community and developers of Tails, it would be really, really great to see this project service somewhere within maybe especially, the public, the federal realm, and actually see a project like that.
Could perfectly work with cloud environments, right?
Yeah.
If your data is stored on a trustworthy cloud environment, perhaps based on OpenStack and ran on SUSE Linux Enterprise.
Wow, that's putting it all together.
You could use Tails to access your data, work with the data, just log out, and on the client side, everything is lost and gone, but it's all stored. And it is stored in data stores based on Ceph, which is another open source project. That would be my pornographic dream.
Oh, holy moly. Yeah, I know this company called, I think it was Computical or something, who can do bare metal installations for you.
Try it again.
We Shaped Clouds. That's awesome. The Cloud Report, sponsoring open.clouds.dev.
How was the company called?
I think
because they are good friends with SUSE. What is their name?
Cloudical. Great company, great people.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Can you make it a little bit more
specific?
Convincing?
specific. So really get this, people. I have in my past career worked with many IT partners. But there's really one thing that stood out when I had my first contact to Cloudical, starting to speak to people there, starting to speak internally to people about Cloudical at SUSE. A conversation with Cloudical felt like coming home. It didn't feel like having an external communication. It was, wow, these guys know so much about open source, about Linux, about why the hell are they actually called Cloudical? Isn't that the evil cloud Google, Amazon, blah crap thing? But in German, you would say, ich wurde eines Besseren belehrt. So they really taught me something, because I actually learned a lot of stuff from Cloudical about the things we're doing at SUSE. So that for me just stood out, sir. Oh,
Well deserved. Thank you.
another press job. No, seriously, that's that's kind of, for me, um, the way a business or a value-added community should work. Because the beauty of it is, I create something with the teams, or like we as SUSE create something out of our vision and out of our experience, and kind of, out of the way we look at things. But what's even better is we have a lot of business partners, that just try to take what we do, pack it into a product, and push it out to the customer. And then actually, we're working against our idealism, against the openness, against the open source ethos. And what really does happen with you guys at Cloudical is, you take our open platform and you create the systems and whatever the customer needs. You're taking the openness and operating it into open business, which is kind of great to see, because you have people who can create, who can code, who can develop. You have people who can consult. You have
We
people.
are working with some of the best partners in the industry, such as SUSE. Sorry. Um, because we share the same mindset. And please, now let's end the second advertising block. Although I love it if you speak a lot of my company, whose website is available at cloudical.io.
So hey, do we maybe, I think this is the right moment to share some real good insight. We have something awesome for our audience, which is, there's an event coming up. There's this really great event coming up, and the event is called KubeCon.
I heard of that. What is
KubeCon.
going on there?
We all meet up for a couple of days and try to solve Rubik's cubes. No, just kidding. So
That is nice.
the KubeCon is hosted by the Kubernetes and the Linux Foundation, Cloud Native Foundation. And as the name kind of suggests, it's going to be a big meeting and melting pot for all the different types of users of containerization, and especially the Kubernetes project. And Cloudical is going to be there, and SUSE is going to be there with a virtual booth. So Karsten and myself will have a virtual presence at this really awesome event. And maybe if somebody sees this, hey, give us topics, questions, you want to join us, just let us know, because we'll definitely be running one of our open.clouds.dev webinars from the KubeCon.
If we figure out the technology.
Yeah, in the worst case, we can just, like, I don't know, do it in the cloud, no? Just technology.
And pretend we would know what we are doing.
Who knows? There's going to be a lot of cool people.
But frankly,
Audience there.
There is a time box. If you want to just join the keynote and the expo hall, and not join all of the sessions and lightning talks and so on and so forth, you should register until tomorrow evening, 23:59 CEST, which translate to 22:59 BST, which translate to something around 3:30 a.m. in the morning in India, and which translates back to something around, don't know, 3:30 p.m. on Friday in Northern America. And I'm just doing that straight out of my head. So you should definitely join in there, because frankly, the Keynote and Expo Hall only kind of event is complimentary, so you do not pay for it. And the full event pass is a ridiculous $75. And obviously, $75 is not a ridiculous amount of money, but compare that to what you pay, at a traditional KubeCon. I just wanted to say SUSECon. Traditional KubeCon, it's like
just because you
not
mentioned
even a tenth.
just because you mentioned it, SUSECon Digital was completely free for anyone to join the full conference.
Just looking.
Well, at least
is it still available?
I'm going to be doing the SUSE booth duty every day from 12:30 to 3 in the afternoon, and then I'm going to be heading over to Cloudical to crash their booth. It's going to be fun.
Wait, what?
It's going to be fun.
Wait, what? No, I'm not referring to the gonna be fun thing. I'm referring to the thing you said before, like I'm going to head over to Claudical's booth, which, by the way, is the Cloud Reports booth.
Oh, the Cloud Reports booth. I'm so sorry.
You need to know the differences, because the Cloud Report is presenting this show.
Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Cloudical, the Cloud Report, Cloud...
SUSE! No, it's not the same thing.
Well, at least, yeah, if you want to talk to me about public clouds in Microsoft, Azure, or Amazon, or maybe Google's offerings, please head on over to the Cloud Reports booth to talk to the SUSE guy about how public cloud can make your life a better one.
Oh, really?
Challenge accepted.
Do we host that session?
I don't know.
But we should get in touch perhaps with Federico. And we should have an answer.
I know when I'm supposed to be there and stuff, but I actually really haven't looked into how this is going to pan out.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But
yes,
that's the new normal. It is the new normal. Speaking of the new normal, I was told that you learned to be agile, my dearest Chris.
Well,
so and I promised the audience on the social medias that you'll be talking to them about Agilitiy, even if it's just Kanban. So, dear Chris, what did you learn so far on your path to Agilitiy?
Bingo, man, bingo.
I didn't even mention Scrum.
On my path to Agilitiy. So what I learned is I can take my laptop and do the session from here. I can take my laptop and kind of, do it standing up. I could go on my balcony, and that's agile for you. Lesson over. No, actually, the interesting thing is, because there's a large misconception about this whole topic. And basically, agile or being agile is a mindset. And what I've been learning about is the right methodology to free my mind to be in the right mindset.
Free your mind, and the
basically,
rest will follow.
What Kanban is a way of organizing workloads and projects. Basically, what Kanban means is signal card, something on a card, something on a display. And that's what you do. You organize your workloads into separate, smaller chunks that are handleable. You have systems that enable you to collaborate within teams using Kanban, blah, 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 and that will lead you to an agile mindset and way of working. Yes, please.
Dear Chris, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who invented it?
Toyota.
Thank you, Chris. And is the idea behind Kanban and agile processes that you are working with cards? Is that the main idea?
Actually, that's, actually a good chicken egg question, because I personally am convinced what actually the bigger deal was that Toyota invented, or the business managers at Toyota, was the just-in-time principle, because they figured, hey, a lot of the cost and a lot of the delay is coming from our ordering process. So basically from our supply chain. And being a car manufacturer and kind of having a very straightforward production line where stuff just, goes from one station to another and the finished car plops out at the end, they basically defined, hey, wouldn't it be a lot greater to have all the materials and all the people and all the production there and ready when it needs to be there and ready? And so they said, hey, we'll try this new thing called just in time. But just in time was also more kind of the mindset, the overboarding idea they had. And what they needed is a method and a system to actually enable just in time to work. And what did they do is they divided their whole car building process into a lot of different sub processes, and through getting and knowing the sub processes, they were able to adjust their supply chain and order management to fit the scale of production that they were doing the set day, which is kind of awesome if you think about it.
I'm just wondering how long you can actually talk without taking a break and without breathing.
Well, according to SUSE, 6 years and 7 months, huh?
I'd second that one. To me, frankly, Agilitiy, and I'm totally aware of the background, but to me, Agilitiy is basically, as you said, a mindset. But I usually tend not to say Agilitiy, because being agile is, let me put it that way, that's to some extent burned already. It's like, it's misused. It's for some understood as a product, or they use it as a weapon, and they just say, yeah, Agilitiy means to me that I can tell you what I want and you will do that right away, and I do not need to plan for it because Agilitiy, and that's definitely not true. I was told exactly those things by a project manager back then. And she had an Agilitiy basic course. And I guess that she basically stopped listening after the first 15 minutes. That's why I tend to call it not an agile process, but an iterative process. And that is basically where the idea lies within. You do not care. I mean, you care. You note down tasks for the future, so you do not forget about them. But you don't narrow them down. You don't detail them, because that's something happening in the future. You just care about what's now and perhaps what's next, and you go step by step by step by step, by iteration by iteration.
What actually the most valuable thing is that I learned yesterday's learning training session?
That I am right?
You are very, very right, because we were doing different simulations of a Kanban board and testing different ways of working with these small chunks and having cards and pushing them from one row to the next, or from one step to the next. And basically, these different roles with the different steps of your project are called the work in progress, because, you know, there's work that's progressing. And when we just had a bunch of cards, and when we were just, you know, everybody was taking cards, grabbing cards, trying to push them in some direction, we were creating a huge amount, just a huge unmanageable mass of backlog and confusion within this system. And the one thing that is kind of the golden ticket, the golden way of thinking, and which boosted our productivity instantaneously, was limiting the work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
And was saying
that's one of the most important things.
Yeah, and you know that sounds so stupid if you're coming from the business side of something where it's always more and better and greater and bigger. Actually breaking it down and saying, hey, you know, if we limit the amount of work that we are able to do in one session or in one row or in one iteration,
you limit that to a realistic amount of work, not to a wishful thinking kind of amount of work. You limit that to a realistic amount of work. If somebody from your team is not available, the work is lowering down.
Yeah, and the third abstract and iteration of that was just by limiting the work, we already had basically in the simulation boosted our productivity. But you know what made it work really, really well, and what kind of put the icing on the cake? You couldn't guess. It was communication, talking about stuff.
I could guess that, because I know that. Next time you want to have such a training, just reach out to me. No, but the point is, there's another aspect in that. By thinking of which amount of work is doable in a given time, and by breaking it down into reasonably sized and detailed tasks, you do all the kind of mind setting thing. And you basically do the conceptualization of things, and you basically actually order your work, and that is so an amazing thing. You need to see in contrast basically the way many people work is like that kind of waterfall model, where you basically think of one thing and then it goes down to the next stage and you never come back. Iteration means small steps and you start all over again, not at the same point, but you have an increment, which is, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Team can basically discuss those things. And you have an amount of work doable in that time. The team commits to that amount of work doable in that time. So you have the experts.
Have you had fun calls from customers? You know, because let's call it by the name, you know, DevOps. Have you had customers call you and say, "Oh, Mr. Zamashke, I'd like to buy 4 DevOps from you, please. I've heard SUSE does this agile software stuff, and I want to have four DevOps now, please."
Well, no, I haven't ever had those calls because nobody mentioned SUSE in that regard. But other than that, yes. And I was even working in a company back then where they said, "Yeah, we do DevOps now as a product. So here is our DevOps." And you said, "Guys, DevOps is a mindset. Is a way of working with each other. It's heavily based on agile, or again, as I want to call them, iterative processes. And it's not about software stacks. You can build software stacks with that. You can even run them with agile processes. Perhaps not very kind of formal agile processes, but you can bring in agile processes. And you can have your experts in that process." But they basically said, "Okay, yeah, no, DevOps to us is a Jenkins CI server and is some automated rollout of that.
And Red Hat Satellite."
Something along those lines. And the point is, that's not DevOps. That's a product.
It's called OpenShift, and it really is more than.
What is it called? OpenShift? Sorry, no. I haven't said no. We cut it out.
We said we weren't going to bash IT companies anymore.
I don't bash anyone. I just had a mistake in my spelling.
The main learning from all of this is basically you can automate to the max, but it all still really burns down to the people using the system that they've created to
And
kind
to
of,
the processes and
yes.
to the knowledge transfer, because that is another very important aspect within agile or iterative environments. You should have some small kind of meetings where basically look at the result of the current iteration, and you should share the knowledge between each of the members there.
Sharing knowledge is cool. I'll get you something.
Dear
So,
viewers,
dear audience, if you actually understand,
still waiting for Chris to come back. Oh, he's back. Awesome.
yeah, if you actually understand these big boy words that Karsten is using all the time, and if you if you're still interested in what this is about, I have a book tip, and the book is called The Innovator's Dilemma, and it's basically exactly about that. Saying the subtitle is When New Technologies Cause Great Firms to Fail. And that basically sums up all the stuff we've been talking about. Yeah, you can buy an agile software system, or yeah, you can put stuff into a limitlessly scalable cloud. But the moment that you then kind of outsource the responsibility of thinking and creativity and basically the human component, it's not innovation anymore,
And
but
the
it's actually
responsibility
causing
of
harm
being
to you and your
responsible.
system.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
I'm responsible for chaos. That's kind of one of my jobs.
No.
The cool thing
I
is,
meant that. I meant that seriously. If you just outsource, bless you. If you just outsource that stuff to some random cloud environment, if you just use proprietary software because you do not need to think of that because somebody has been doing that for you. You do not just outsource your IT or your infrastructures or even your human resources. You outsource, or you try to outsource, your responsibility. And frankly, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
yeah, the last time I outsourced my responsibility, my friends had to like bail me out at the local police station. So, yeah, learning's iterative approach. Next time we'll do it different. Be smart. Don't get caught.
Nope.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
Yes,
We're
it is
like,
not beautiful.
why, we're the ultimate iterators.
We are not even iterative, we are repetitive. Damn
That
it.
that should be our slogan. We're not iterative, we're repetitive.
That will be this. Yep. Decision made. That will be the title of this episode. Not iterative, comma, repetitive! Exclamation mark.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And if you want to get in touch with us, how could you do that? Chris, are you trying to show something?
No, I figured you might have an important message, but you don't, so I can just go forward and say the cloud
Not
report.
yet, not
That,
yet, not yet, not yet.
so you can see us on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn. I'm a
Yeah.
total lead. Uh,
Boring.
you can what are you? Which platform did I leave out?
You left out the report.cloud because this show because it's coming to an end, this show was presented by
The cloud report, the cloud report, sponsoring Karsten and Chris's antics and shenanigans.
what?
Our foolishness, our fun, our
Our impressive personalities?
yes, see,
Yes.
not
Yeah, I feel like I need to look for mine today. Must have left it downstairs.
Oh, I think we really, at some point, and we should live stream that. We should have like a customer meeting together.
Yeah, we should do that. But Chris, I have an even better idea. We should have something like a webcast running at a regular schedule, and we should live stream that one.
Well, we messed that one up because normally we do it Tuesdays and it's Thursday now.
Wait. We?
I meant the royal we. His Highness was...
His Highness was not available.
I was trying to learn something for life.
No, you tried to crash the course. That's what you did. I was speaking to the trainer and he was really depressed because he said, whenever I try to bring in new things, Christopher Allen Branston, awesome Christopher Allen Branston, always responded with, yeah, I know that, tell me something new.
No, can I actually at this point, this is something I would like to use our live format for. The guy who's been giving us our Kanban training is called Martin Haider, and I could recommend him to any company and or team that wants to learn about Kanban and Agile methodology, because I've had so many different trainings, and in the most case, it was a complete waste of my time because there's somebody cashing in $30,000 to come and take 3 days to show me 100 PowerPoint slides, and that fucking sucks every time. But Martin here is somebody, I don't know, he just has an awesome way and an awesome mix of training people by explaining stuff, illustrating stuff, having hands-on sessions, having simulations, answering any question you could fling at him. And it was fun. This was one of the first trainings where I can say I really am learning something and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And I'm doing it together with a really, really great team. So props and thanks out to Martin. Awesome. I thought you already had talked to the trainer. Why are you adding him just now?
Because I forgot about it, because I felt like he was so awesome.
Yeah, he is awesome. I'm sorry
frankly,
for...
No, don't be sorry. Just stand by your mistakes. And that was definitely not one of those. It's good. It's good to know that there are good trainers besides me.
Yes.
And people who actually, frankly, I'm completely honest now. I wouldn't like to have somebody like you in one of my trainings back then. No, because you are amongst those guys that would penetrate me with questions, that would question everything. And really, no, I would like to have you in my trainings, because most of those trainings were quite boring from that perspective, not from the way I did my trainings, but from a perspective of interaction. Mostly it is like a front, a trainer in the front, and basically they are sitting there. But I'd imagine that somebody like you, there's a pain in the ass.
A mean thing we say around my neck of the woods, which is those who can do, those who can't teach. But in Martin's case, it's those who have done inspire others. And that's awesome. That's just something, don't get a lot of that. So
you have a new role model? Is that what you are telling me? You have a new role model? You are abandoning me for Martin?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't do that.
To me, that sounds a lot like that. So next week or next time, open.clouds.dev with Christopher Branston and Martin Haider.
That would be very, very fitting, because next Tuesday, while we should be doing our webcast, I actually have the training. I wouldn't even have to see if he's free, Karsten, you do know nothing and nobody on this planet could ever compare to you. You are completely unique, an awesome person, an inspiration to work and talk with. So thank you very, very much at this point
Go
for
ahead, go ahead, go
initiating and
ahead.
having the great idea for this webcast and format and the cloud report and Cloudical and bringing me into it, letting me have my fun, sometimes bringing me back to
Go
the
ahead. More.
awfulness of reality. And basically, if you were a woman, I'd try and date you.
You again screwed it.
That's what I'm good at. That's
I
what I'm
know,
good at.
I
And
know.
it comes very, very natural. But hey, do you see today, today there's a lot of love going around, and I think that fits perfectly with our open source model we've got going here. It's give and take, and a part of being
That's true.
viable and being trustable and being authentic is also knowing when to say thanks and when to give praise. And I think, yeah, everybody I've given praise today has deserved it.
Did you give praise to yourself today?
Well,
You should do that.
kind of.
You should do that because you said everybody whom you have given praise to today deserved it. So you should give some praise to yourself as well. Just saying.
Christopher, thank you for being you. I know we've had a long history. We've had ups and downs, dear Chris. It's not always been easy living inside your head or your body or both at the same time, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm good. I'm good with that. I like
Being
it.
Christopher Branston.
Oh, see, that's probably somebody watching who just sent me a message. What the fuck's your problem? Oh well. Oh well. Oh well.
Well. I'm just thinking of whether we should reference some other role models now or just call it a day.
Well, no reference 1 or 5.
No, I thought you should do that. Mommy and Daddy?
Oh, okay, they made me.
But not
Gotta give him that.
not
They
my
made me.
parents.
No, there's
Yes,
actually there's not enough time. Maybe we should, have one of these scrolly thingies, because there would be a lot of people I'd give kudos and respect to. But that for me, and that's why I'm so passionate about doing what we're doing here, and why I'm passionate about communities and open source and all the stuff that comes with it, is actually really on some of the darker days, or when I'm just stuck, when I'm really out of mojo, out of motivation. It's very, very often the people in the community around me that pick me up and that give me some reason, to fight through the bad days and to think through the gray clouds, and who actually give me the little piece of sunshine where I'm saying like, I wrote to you today. You were saying like, yeah, want to do this today, and I said I need a highlight this week, and it is, and it's the small things that count sometimes. So, follow is more. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to learn more about role models, happy people, communities, and the power of openness.
I love that guy. And with that one, we are off. See you later. See you. Do we have a show next week?
I'm figuring. We have to kind of find a day or pre-record it.
No pre-recordings.
We could what we could do is on next Tuesday do kind of the R-rated adult version at 8 p.m. CEST.
Oh, you need to clarify that with my personal power, with my force, with my better half, because gooks.
Or I mean, we could well then that's not maybe not make it the R rated, but the family version. I'll invite someone. I'll invite a friend or two.
It's not about the content, it's about the
I know it's
time.
about the time we're taking away.
Quality time.
Quality time, bonding,
Wait, what?
bondage. Yeah, you heard right. No, I said
Yeah, I know. I know.
no. Okay, we'll definitely, dear audience, dear person listening to us. I promise we'll find some way, form, or solution to bring you another session of great live content next week.
Perhaps on Friday.
Friday's good. I like Fridays.
Yeah, but you usually do your Friday catch up.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
multi formatable. I can do two in one day. Hey, whoa! Let's
that
combine
is an awesome idea.
Friday
That is an
Ketchup
yep,
and
yep, yep.
Open Clouds Dev. We'll call it the Open
Open Clouds Ketchup.
Friday Cloud Ketchup Dev. Open Ketchup.
Open Ketchup. Done deal.
Open Ketchup. The hot
Um,
sauce.
you reach out to Emiel,
Yes, I will. I surely will.
and he can basically then later on publish the cut it version. Ah, that is an awesome idea.
Oh, that's
Emiel,
community.
I know
Awesome.
that
Good.
you are the viewer. I know it. So think of that. When we do that jointly, Emiel, when we do that jointly, we would have 2 viewers. We would double our audience.
It's a win-win situation.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, great. We have a plan. That's, you know, that's great.
And you know we have someone to blame. If it's not working out, we don't need to say anything. Everybody would know that Emiel did not approve it.
Ooh, pressure, pressure, pressure,
No,
pressure.
no pressure at all. Absolutely no pressure. How could that happen? Definitely not. But
So
Emiel,
without further ado,
no. Emiel, think of that. You would not only have Christopher in your show, you could have me. Actually, it would be our show, but we won't tell him.
our lawyer will contact your lawyer, will contact our lawyer. You know, we know how business works.
Oh, yeah. We do that professionally. Did you actually sign the NDA I handed over to you for this show? Oops.